What's up everybody, Alex here, and welcome to this 5th edition of the Battle of the Builds, and this one's a special one because it is a 32 build mega tournament that features builds from everyone in the community, and I cannot be more excited to bring you this fantastic competition. Before we start, I'm going to put the brackets on the screen here. So basically the way it has to work here is that there are two separate 16 build brackets. So the winner of bracket 1 will face the winner of bracket 2 to become the overall champion. Now, for those of you that are new to this series, there are a few building rules that the competitors had to kind of adhere to when they submitted their builds, and they are as follows. 1. You are limited to 9 units. 2. You can only have one 3-star unit, and the rest of the heroes have to be 2 stars. 3. You have to use one item from each of the tiers. So you can only have like one tier 1 item, one tier 2 item, 1 3, 1 4, and one tier 5 item. You cannot have 2 tier 5s, for instance. So one of each tier. And finally, you have to have an Underlord, and that's pretty much it. That's it. Any alliance can be used. 9 units, 5 items, and an Underlord. And guys, I cannot wait to dive into these builds. So let's get right in with match number 1 of bracket number 1. And for the first match of the Battle of the Builds, we've got Sumit Dubey at the top and Banana Milk at the bottom. Sumit Dubey is using some sort of knight build. You see the antlers there to activate the hunter bonus. And you got a mechanism up front on the Omni Knight. And at the bottom here, Banana Milk has got a Sven with a Moon Shard, a Treant Protector, a Doom with a Vanguard. Pretty beefy, but the star of the show is the 3-star Lifestealer with the Mask of Madness. You have a Mirana here with the Gloves of Haste. Let's see who takes the first battle here. It's a pretty interesting start here. Mirana jumps away, gets a pretty good stun there. It's not on Medusa though. Necrophos takes that stun away. If it hit Medusa, that would have been extremely valuable. You're looking at Treant Protector doing a pretty good job keeping that front line up. Doom is now down. It looks like Sumit Dubey is gonna take this first fight of this first Battle of the Builds, and let's move on to battle number 2. And for match number 2 of the Battle of the Builds, what we've got here is we've got Data with the 3-star Crystal Maiden up top, reducing the cooldowns of all the mages present and the spirits, of course, against Eugene at the bottom with his 3-star Enigma with a Refresher Orb. And of course, you have the Desolator on Medusa. Let's see who takes this second match of the Battle of the Builds. So that Refresher Orb is going to do work here as Enigma's going to cast, get a great cast there. Midnight Pulse destroying that lower corner. He's got another cast here. It hits the 3-star Crystal Maiden and the Keeper of the Light. This looks like a very dominating win from Eugene here as he completely destroys Data, unfortunately. The 3-star Crystal Maiden and the Spirits were not enough. That first Delta Slam was quite the miss. Let's move on to match number 3. And for match number 3 of the Battle of the Builds, we've got Derek Koo's lineup, and he's got himself a 3-star Lifestealer with a Mask of Madness. And on the other end here, we have Nocturne Black. Nocturne Black has a 3-star Medusa with a Divine Rapier. That is quite the lineup, but that Refresher Orb on Witch Doctor is going to have a pretty big stun effect. Let's see who takes this round 3 of the Battle of the Builds of bracket 1. Both Jules are down near immediately. Lifestealer's down as well for Derek. That's not a good sign because Medusa is going to absolutely shred. She's stunned. I do not see them coming back here as Medusa continues to do an incredible amount of damage, leading the charge here. And Nocturne Black does get the win here and moves on in this version of the Battle of the Builds. Match number 4 of the Battle of the Builds, what we've got is we've got Pro Jumps at the top with his Spirit build, with his Faceless Void with the Divine Rapier there. That's going to be pretty crazy. And at the bottom here, we've got Lunchbreaker, and Lunchbreaker's running a really balanced build. Shiva's Guard on an Omni Knight there. He has a Medusa 2-star with a Butterfly, 3-star Bat Rider. Let's see who takes this one here. That 3-star Enigma up front. Oh, that's a huge Midnight Pulse. And they're locked down. Wow, that is an absolute wombo combo. And Pro Jumps gets a very decisive win to move on to the next round. For match number 5 of bracket number 1, we've got Unoriginal at the top, 3-star Warlock, Demon build with some Knights in there as well. Very interesting. And you've got a Doom with a Divine Rapier against Dex Maba at the bottom with Heartless Hunters, a 3-star Medusa with Divine Rapier. Let's see who takes it. These 3-star Medusas are absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We got the demon effect going here. We have some healing. It's not going to be enough though. The healing is just not enough to compensate for the amount of DPS these Hunters and Heartless are doing. You have the Doom on the Templar Assassin, but it's not enough. And Dex Maba moves on to the next round. And for match number 6 of bracket 1, we have Azira at the top, and they've got a Luna with a Mask of Madness, 3 stars. That is absolutely incredible. And an Axe with a Shiva's Guard. You cannot ask for more than that. And of course, you have a Refresher Orb on Doom. That's quite the impactful ability. And at the bottom here, we have Kamal. And Kamal's running 6 Savages, one of the only Savage builds running, but he's also running the Assassins as well. And this 3-star Slark with a Mask of Madness is going to do work, I'm sure. And he's got a Magnus with a Shiva's Guard as well. Both units are positioned perfectly for Shiva's Guard. I cannot wait to see who wins this fight. Let's go. Let's see who's going to win match number 6. Both Shiva's Guard are procced. You have the Refresher Orb there on the Lone Druid. You have Entangles going down. Joel doing his job. But these Assassins are absolutely destroying that rear line. This looks like it's going to be pretty close, but that Slark is completely going nuts, and it is going to be Kamal who is going to be moving on to the next round. In match number 7 of this playoff round, at the top we have AJ John, and he's against Tiberius M. Let's see who takes it. AJ John is running a 3-star Enigma with a Refresher. We've got another demon build, a 3-star Warlock. Let's see who takes it. Can these demons do enough damage? We got Medusa and Enigma. They're locked down. Midnight Pulse is going to drop soon. Not quite yet. A delayed cast. There's the Midnight Pulse. Good healing from those Shadow Fiends. They're getting a ton of healing. The amount of sustained healing in the build here is incredible, but it's not going to be able to put out enough healing compared to the amount of DPS, and AJ John is going to move on to the next round thanks to his outright fantastic DPS. And for the 8th and final match of the first preliminary playoff of bracket number 1, we've got Jordan Andy at the top versus Chris at the bottom. Chris running a Refresher Orbed 3-star Lich, and we have a Medusa here with a Moon Shard and a 3-star Terrorblade with a Chrysalis. I love to see that. Let's see what we can do. We also have a Mirana with a Divine Rapier. That fast attack speed is going to do work. That's a great cast there by Keeper of the Light here. Very close fight. It looks like the Chain Frost is going to do a ton of work. That Chain Frost might have just won here, but Mirana is not going down. Remember, she's got the Divine Rapier, but it's not enough, and Chris secures the win. All right, everyone, what you see here is the updated bracket. As you can see, we're done our initial playoff round. We're now into the quarterfinals. These competitors are now going to earn their place into the semis to get a chance to represent bracket number 1 in the finals. Let's get right to it. Alright guys, it's match number 1 of the quarterfinals of bracket number 1. And what we've got here is we have Sumit Dubey at the top versus Eugene at the bottom. Eugene's got his Medusa with the Desolator and an Enigma with a Refresher Orb. Now, Enigma's positioning is really interesting here. He's right on the front line. He's going to get poked a lot. He's going to get 2 very quick casts on a relatively bunched up lineup. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Sumit's lineup is going to cope with that Midnight Pulse. Let's get started. There's an initial Midnight Pulse right away, but it goes on Mirana. That is unbelievable. Is that a second Midnight Pulse on Mirana? You've got to be kidding me. That was 2 Midnight Pulses on Mirana. That RNG is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. It's a tight fight here. A very tight fight. Sumit Dubey is doing a lot of damage. He looks like he's out DPSing his opponent here. This Templar Assassin is not going to be able to do enough work here. He might take the Lich, but he's taking no one else. And Sumit Dubey moves on to the next round with an unbelievable bait by Mirana on those Midnight Pulses. That was absolutely incredible. Let's move on to match number 2. In match number 2 of the quarterfinals of bracket 1, what we've got here is we've got Nocturne Black at the top versus Pro Jumps at the bottom. Pro Jumps did a number in the earlier round with his spirits, and we have Nocturne Black with his 3-star Medusa with the Divine Rapier, and the Divine Rapier here on Faceless Void. Let's see. Now, he's corner comp. That might be tricky for the spirits, but he's got that Enigma with the Refresher. Let's see who takes this quarterfinal fight. Enigma's down rather fast, but because they're so bunched up, they are getting absolutely destroyed by Midnight Pulse. And the Spirits did not get a great Delta Slam here, but that Medusa is going to go down rather early. This is actually pretty close because, oh, great Frostbite there on the Mirana. Now, Storm Spirit, now it's really hard to take down. Oh, that switch! The Brute bonus might have just cost him the game! Oh, Lifestealer switched because of the Brute bonus, and it allowed the Frostbite from Crystal Maiden. That was truly unbelievable. And Pro Jumps moves on to the semifinals thanks to Crystal Maiden. In match number 3 of these quarterfinals for bracket number 1, we have Kamal at the bottom running his 6 Savages versus Dex Maba running his Hunters here. And what you've got is you've got the Medusa 3-star with the Divine Rapier, and you have a 3-star Slark. These are absolute monsters. Let's see who takes this here. Let's see, come on. So it's going to be really hard for these Assassins to break through that corner comp Excellent play there by the Faceless Void to lock everyone down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. These Savages are going down rather fast. That Medusa has to go down, but she's not going to. So Kamal is out. So that was a very decisive win here by Dex Maba to move on to the semifinals. In the final match of the Bracket 1 quarterfinals, what we've got here is we've got AJ John at the top versus Chris at the bottom. Chris lined up wonderfully with this Shiva's Guard on Tidehunter and a 3-star Lich with a Refresher Orb, countered by a 3-star Enigma with a Refresher Orb, and you got a Faceless Void in that corner there who's probably going to lock everyone down and have Enigma do some work. It's a relatively static comp here cornered, so Enigma might be a huge factor for AJ John here. Enigma getting an immediate cast, not great targeting, but it might be enough here. Good hit by Chris here. This looks like it's incredibly close. Medusa's down. Axe is left. Can Axe and Faceless Void carry to the end here? It is so close. Unbelievably close. This looks like AJ John is going to take it with the execution by Axe there. Culling Blade getting the win for AJ John. What a fight. That could have gone either way. And now we're moving on to the semifinals of bracket number 1. Alright guys, the updated bracket is on the screen, and as you can see, we are moving along, and now we're in the semifinals, and whoever wins these semifinals is going to get a championship qualifier match in order to face off against the winner of bracket number 2, so let's get started. In the first semifinal match of bracket number 1, we have Sumit Dubey at the top, once again with that 3-star Mirana and the Abaddon with the Shiva's Guard, and you're running the Antlers on Templar Assassin against Pro Jumps at the bottom, who has had an amazing run so far with his stacked Faceless Void with the Divine Rapier and stacked Spirits there. He's also got Enigma 3-star with the Refresher Orb, and that has been the factor. I feel like these Enigmas have been doing work. Now let's see if Murata can bait that Enigma once more and get Sumit Dubey the win here. Let's get started. The first match of the semifinals in bracket 1 have started. Murata did bait. I cannot believe that. Mirana did bait that Midnight Pulse there. It's been a tight fight here. Good hit by Keeper of the Light. Okay, so it's close. It's close, but it looks like Pearl Jumps is going to win here. Another Templar Assassin is not going to be able to solo an entire team, and Pro Jumps moves on to the finals of bracket number 1. And for the final match of bracket number 1 semifinals, what we've got here is we've got Dex Maba at the top, whose Medusa with Divine Rapier has been absolutely wrecking everybody. And up front, he's got a Pudge, and then you got the 2-star Lich for Chain Frost there. But then at the bottom here, you have AJ John, and AJ John has an excellent combo of a 3-star Enigma with a Refresher Orb, and you've got an Axe with the Heart of Tarask. That is an incredibly strong front line. Now the thing is, the Enigma should be able to get 2 very effective Midnight Pulses here, but can he survive the onslaught of this incredibly high DPS lineup, especially with this Divine Rapier up front? Let's see if he can even get 2 casts off, and the semifinals are off here. Dex Maba off to a very fast start. As you can see, Medusa's leading in DPS. There is the Chrono Cube. But everyone's slowed down by that Chain Frost. Excellent Chain Frost. That Medusa is still protected. And he's staying alive. Axe is down. Now you have a 3-star Medusa versus a 2-star Medusa. And it looks like Dex Maba is going to move on to the championship qualifier. Let's see who's going to take that exciting match. And here we are, the championship match of bracket number 1. The winner of this match gets to go against bracket number 2's winner in order to face off to be crowned the champion of the overall 32 build competition. At the top here, we have Pro Jumps, who's been doing a fantastic job with his 3-star Enigma with Refresher, being locked down by the Chrono Cube of Faceless Void and the Divine Rapier. And then we have at the bottom, we have Dex Maba. Dex has been carried by this Dream 3-star Medusa with the Divine Rapier. Pudge with the Chainmail up front doing a ton of tanking. And then you get the Chain Frost from Lich, which does an incredible amount of AoE damage and slows down the DPS of pretty much everyone. Let's see who's going to represent bracket number 1 in the championship fight. It starts now. Pro Jumps off to a quick start here. Good Midnight Pulse there. There's the Chrono Cube. There is the Keeper of the Lights cast, but it's not going to be enough because that 3-star Medusa is still up. And they're coming now, and oh, there it is. Dex Maba being crowned the champion of bracket number 1. Medusa just did not go down, was able to do so much damage here, and Dex Maba will be representing bracket number 1 in the championship. So now it's time we move on to bracket number 2. Alright everyone, on the screen here you see the setup for the next bracket. This is bracket number 2, and once again, just like bracket number 1, the winner of bracket number 2 of these 16 competitors will go on to face the winner of bracket number 1, Dex Maba, in the overall championship for this edition of the Battle of the Builds. Let's get started. In this first match of the second bracket, what we've got here is we've got Nick at the top utilizing a whole bunch of neutrals to actually do this huge barricade here to prevent access to the squishy units. He's got a 3-star Lich with a refresher orb, and he's going to be having a Tidehunter engage on the edge here. Fantastic Ravage is going to be coming, and positioned just in the right position here is Razor and Shadow Fiend to do their AoE damage against Alice. Alice is running some assassins here, 6 assassins and voids, which is fantastic in most lineups, but right now I'm questioning, can Alice get into this backline squishy mage area? That's the question. Can Nick's setup prevent Alice from doing the damage that they need to do to win this match here? Let's find out right now. The first match of the second bracket begins. Look, Slark is on the ravaging Tidehunter here. The mages are pretty safe. They're not getting penetrated yet. Okay, Sand King's back there, but the heal from the Shadow Fiend was enough to keep them up, and it looks like this is close. This is actually incredibly close, but it looks like Nick might take it. I don't think this Templar... Why is Templar Assassin always the last one fighting? They're not going to be able to take down Nick's mages. A very close fight there, but Nick moves on to the quarterfinals. In match number 2 of bracket number 2, what we've got here is we've got Clifferson Young at the top. They're running a Medusa with a Divine Rapier and a 3-star axe with Chainmail. That is absolutely terrifying. You've also got Tidehunter with the Refresher Orb, and they're against Fayaz at the bottom. Fayaz running the Targeting Buddy. We haven't seen a Targeting Buddy yet. We've got a Targeting Buddy, we've got a Shiva's Guard on a Pudge, and there's the Enigma, and you got a 3-star Troll Warlord with a Mask of Madness. That is an absolute dream. Let's see who's going to take this fight. Match number 2 of the playoff round of bracket number 2 is begun. We have multiple Chrono Cubes here. This is actually kind of tight. Fayaz is putting up a good fight here. Pudge taking a ton of damage, but that axe is still alive. On the other end, he's doing his Culling Blade. Okay, so that Troll Warlord is going to cause problems here. Fayaz's Troll Warlord is going to absolutely lead in DPS and destroy everyone, and it's Fayaz that moves on to the next round of bracket number 2. In match number 3 of bracket number 2's playoff rounds, we have Hulk at the top versus Clark Diggity at the bottom. Clark Diggity running a 3-star Slark with a Mask of Madness, an absolutely terrifying sight. And up here we have a Drow Ranger 3-star, no item, Divine Rapier on the Medusa, Refresher Orb on the Sand King. That is also pretty terrifying. Interesting position here. Joel protected. We have Happy Hour Joel protected by some barricades and a Viper. Let's see who takes this. Hulk at the top, Clark Diggity at the bottom. Hulk off to a pretty good start. That Faceless Void is going to get that Chrono Cube, so that Chrono Cube is going to do work here. But, oh man, that was a good Ravage. That was a good Ravage. There is the Spike Carapace. It's going to get a few stuns off. Dragon Knight allowed to keep attacking despite being stunned for some time. It looks like Clark Diggity is going to get the win here, even though Sand King is still putting up a fight. But yes, it's Clark Diggity that defeats Hulk to move on to the quarterfinals. And for match number 4 of bracket number 2, we've got the reigning champ, Miko Roni at the top. Miko Roni is running a Medusa, 3 stars with a Divine Rapier, Tidehunter with a Refresher, and what you've got here is barricades protecting the Troll Warlord with a Mask of Madness. That is a terrifying lineup here. And at the bottom, you have Solan SRB running the Satanic on the Faceless Void, Mask of Madness on a 3-star Slark, Nyx Assassin position to stun absolutely everybody. Let's see who's moving on to the quarterfinals here. Miko Roni off to a good start here. Solan there getting a good stun with that Sand King. But, oh, good lockdown there. But I don't know if it's going to be enough because that Medusa is still up. Medusa's the problem here. And good all-out attack there. But I don't think it's going to be enough because Medusa is doing too much damage. And it looks like Miko Roni is going to be moving on to the quarterfinals. So now we've got match number 5 of bracket number 2. And we've got Cody Glass at the top. 3-star Drow Ranger with a Desolator. We have a Vesture of the Tyrant on the Omni Knight against Music Harmony 41 running a Bat Rider, 3 stars with a Vesture as well. We haven't seen Vestures yet, and now we have 2 of them in one fight. Can't wait to see. We have Joel up front facing off with a 2-star Tidehunter with a Refresher. Let's see who takes it. Cody Glass at the top, Music Harmony at the bottom. Good stun there by Tidehunter. There's the double there with the Refresher Orb. Good cast there by Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend having the armlet's going to increase their DPS quite a bit. Excellent Static Storm there. Great stun by Mirana. But it looks like Music Harmony is just completely pushing Cody Glass's team apart. That Enthrall is not going to be able to do enough, and Mirana's the last-ditch effort, but it's not enough against this full team, and Music Harmony moves on to the quarterfinals. For match number 6 of this playoff round, we have ENSI at the top versus Cholet at the bottom, and Cholet is running a 3-star Treant Protector. We've not seen that yet, and he's against a 3-star Ember Spirit with a Battle Fury. Let's see who's going to take this win here. Very interesting start. There's a 3-star on Lone Druid with the refreshers. You're going to have 2 bears out on the field. This is actually really close here. ENSI doing a lot of damage with that Keeper's Blast, but this is a close fight. But Hobgin's still up. There's the friendly fire, and it looks like these Druids are going to go down. These Mages are going to blast their way into the quarterfinals. For match number 7 of the bracket number 2's playoff round, we have Shinta X at the top running a 3-star Luna with a Divine Rapier against Alejandro at the bottom, 3-star Drow Ranger. You have a Pudge and a Lifestealer up front, both with defensive items. You have a Mechanism on an Abaddon, and you have your primary carry item, Terrorblade, with the Satanic. Let's see who's going to move on to the quarterfinals here. Shinta X at the top, Alejandro at the bottom. There's the shield. There's the Mechanism. Can Terrorblade carry the lineup here? Shinta X is really putting the pressure down. That 3-star Luna is still up. It looks like Shinta X is going to get the win here just by sheer amount of DPS. The Enthralled Abaddon is not going to be enough, and Shinta X is moving on to the quarterfinals. In match number 8, in the final match of the playoff round of bracket number 2, we have Paul at the top versus Frank at the bottom. Paul is running a 3-star Warlock with the Circlet of a Stool, and we have a 3-star Magnus with a Chainmail. You don't see that all the time. It's probably going to activate that Lone Druid with the Refresher Orb. You know that Druid synergy. We have Refresher on Faceless Void at the top here for Paul. Let's see who's going to take this and move on to the quarterfinal round here. We have a great stun by Tidehunter there. It's going to be 1 stun. He doesn't have a Refresher Orb. Good lockdown in Chrono Cube there. Oh, that's unfortunate. We have Doom being cast on the Troll Warlord. He's down pretty fast, though. But it looks like Paul is actually starting to really take advantage here. Paul is going to push through, and Paul is going to be representing in the quarterfinals. All right, guys, here's the updated bracket for bracket number 2. We are now pushing into the quarterfinals here to find out who's going to be fighting for the semis and then for the championship fight. So let's get in there and let's see who's moving on to these semifinals. In match number 1 of these quarterfinals, we have Nick at the top versus Fayaz at the bottom. Nick, impressive with his setup here with the neutral barricades and the Mango Tree and Tombstone. And we have the 3-star Troll Warlord with the Mask of Madness, an absolutely terrifying sight for Fayaz. Let's see who takes this win here. Moving on to the semifinals, let's go. Good stun there, but he's Chrono Cubed. He's gonna go down. He went down before a second cast there. So Hobgin's down. Good cast. Look at this. So all the mages are perfectly safe there. This Troll Warlord has to literally solo this entire team. Can he do it? I don't think he can. This is a lot of DPS, even for a Troll Warlord, and he is down, and Nick is moving on to the semifinals. In the second match of these quarterfinals, we have Clark Diggity at the top versus Miko Roni at the bottom. Miko Roni with his 3-star Medusa and his Divine Rapier, and we have the 3-star Slark at the top here with the Mask of Madness. Can the Slark penetrate these squishies back here? That is the question, and can Faceless Void lock down with that Divine Rapier? Let's see it. Chrono Cube and Slark are the keys here to beat this lineup. Miko Roni is Chrono Cube. That's a pretty decent Delta Slam, but did not get the squishies because that 3-star Medusa is still alive. The Stone Gaze isn't going to get anybody, but it is going to be a pure DPS show here as Miko Roni moves on to the semifinals. In match number 3 of the quarterfinals of bracket number 2, what we've got here is we've got Music Harmony at the top versus ENSI at the bottom. ENSI is running a 3-star Ember Spirit with a Battle Fury, stacked spirits, and over here you have a Vesture of the Tyrant on a 3-star Bat Rider. Let's see who's going to take this here. Off to an interesting start here. ENSI, can they get a good Delta Slam? That looks like it's going to be a decent Delta Slam. Oh, they just moved out of the way. Oh man, this is way closer than I expected. Can Hobgin get friendly fire off before going down here? But it looks like that Dragon Knight is not going to be able to contend. He almost stepped right into that cast there, and ENSI with his spirits are getting the win and moving on to the semifinals. And in this last match of the quarterfinals, we've got Shinta X at the top with the 3-star Luna with the Divine Rapier, and they're against Paul at the bottom. Paul is running a Faceless Void with a Refresher Orb, a Divine Rapier on a Terrorblade, and the cap on the Shadow Fiend. This is going to be incredible. Who's going to get into the semifinals? Let's see it here. Shinta X coming in fast. That Joel, I don't think he's going to survive. That Joel is taking a lot of damage. Good Chrono Cube there. Excellent Chrono Cube. He's going to get a second cast here. He's got the Refresher Orb. He did get the second cast at some point there, and it looks like this is incredibly close. I don't think that Luna's going to survive. No, Luna will not survive, and Paul Joshua is moving on to the semifinals. All right, guys, here is the updated bracket. As you can see, a lot of fantastic action happening in bracket number 2. Let's see how the semifinal turns out, and let's see who's going to be facing off in the championship of bracket number 2. All right, in our first semifinal match, we have Miko Roni at the bottom, represented by a Troll Ruler with the Mask of Madness and a 3-star Medusa with a Divine Rapier. On the other side, we have a 3-star Lich of Nick with the Refresher Orb, and once again, this setup with the neutrals. Let's see who's going to get the win here to move on to the championship match of bracket number 2. Good Ravage there, so Miko Roni got the initial Savage, 2 Ravages, so the Nick's Ravage never even went off there, but it looks like the Chain Frost is doing just a crazy amount of work here. Oh no, that Medusa's going down a little fast. Chain Frost completely destroyed the DPS of Miko Roni's squad, and it looks like Nick is moving on to the championship bout of bracket number 2. All right, in the final semifinal match of bracket number 2, we've got ENSI at the top versus Paul at the bottom. Who's going to take this? The 3-star Ember Spirit at the top of the Battle Fury against a 3-star Warlock Demon build with the Circlet and a Terrorblade with a Divine Rapier. That is an absolutely terrifying sight. Let's see who's going to take it and qualify for bracket number 2's championship here. We have ENSI getting off to a good start. Pretty good Delta Slam. That was not a bad Delta Slam. That was pretty good. The Ember Spirit is still up. That is huge. Faceless Void is by himself. He doesn't stand a chance, and ENSI is moving on to the championship of bracket number 2. All right, everyone, this is the championship match of bracket number 2. Winner goes on to face Dex Maba for the overall championship in this 32 Battle of the Builds. We have Nick at the top once again, position. No one's been able to break Nick's positioning yet. Nobody's been able to break Nick's positioning. And we have ENSI at the bottom, but these spirits, can they really Delta Slam that corner? It's going to be incredibly hard, but perhaps the Ember Spirit with the Battle Fury is going to target and just completely melt away that back line. Let's see it. If he can get his the Delta Slam or the Sleight of Fist off before Chain Frost, I think there might be a chance there. Remember, he has Chain Frost too, but who's going to cast it first? Let's find out here. Here we go. Here it is. So good start here. There's a good Ravage, but it looks like, okay, oh, not a good Delta Slam. That's not what he needed. And Sleight of Fist did not do enough damage. Oh no, Nick completely erased ENSI, and Nick is moving on to the overall championship for the Battle of the Builds. All right, everyone, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. The championship fight of the Battle of the Builds. 32 builds came in, and now there are only 2 left. Let's see them. So at the top, we have Dex Maba. Dex Maba has been absolutely destroying in the bracket number 1 with the 3-star Medusa with the Divine Rapier. And then at the bottom here, we have Nick. And Nick has been truly remarkable because Nick's positioning has created a situation where very few have been able to get to his little squishies. We got a Pudge here, though. Can Pudge cause a problem for, well, it's Crystal Maiden. So I don't know. This is going to be incredibly interesting to see how this fight turns out. Let's crown the Battle of the Builds winner right now. Again, we have Nick at the bottom. We have Dex at the top. Let's see it. Here we go. Mango Tree throwing a mango to that Pudge right off from the start. Let's see what Keeper of the Light is going to get an amazing cast off. And we're getting the Refresher on the Chain Frost there. Okay, so that Medusa is still up. That's an incredible thing there. There's the Friendly Fire from Hob. Getting a second cast from Keeper of the Light, but it's not going to be enough. Nick's down, and it's Dex. Dex is the winner. Unbelievable. So congratulations to Dex on winning this 32-round Battle of the Builds. Guys, that was an absolutely unbelievable tournament. Thank you to all of you for submitting your builds, and thank you to all of my wonderful subscribers for all of your support. These types of videos would not be possible without you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and once again, a very special thank you to all of my wonderful subscribers. Take care, everyone, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day.